Welcome to Jam, where we talk about stuff and things every week. We'll use harsh language and talk about things that may not be comfortable. We may chase a rabbit hole for a bit, but we'll come back around. Are you ready to jam? Hi, y'all. Welcome back to Jam. It's Jason, it's Adrian, it's Mandy. We're still on the 36 questions to bring a relationship closer or something like that. We are on before making a telephone call. Do you ever rehearse what you are going to say? And if you do, why? Mandy.
I do not.
Ooh.
I don't know why you would. You can rehearse your part of it, but you can't.
Oh boy, so here we go.
What the other part is going to be. So you can try and plan it, but it's not going to go anywhere close to
But
the
wouldn't
way.
that be kind of funny, though, if you just had a whole script and no matter what the other person's responses were, you stuck
I
to
feel
that fucking
really
script?
attacked right now. I feel really attacked right now.
Oh,
Okay.
why do you feel
No.
attacked,
You answer
Adrian?
first.
No, me first? Okay.
I will get to.
So my answer is plain and simple. No, I do not most of the time. What is the not most of the time? Well, that's if I know, for instance, for business or a conference call or something where I actually need real facts. Then I'm probably going to do some research and rehearse what I'm going to say so I don't get on the phone talking to 20 other people and look like a complete jackass. Although I'd probably be able to save it because I'm pretty good at improv, I still don't want to have to improv.
That's fair.
No, I still wouldn't as far as a conference call either. Especially if you have 20 different people. You can't, there's no way to even come close to thinking what are 20 different people going to say or ask.
While I agree with you on that, I think that's more along the lines of I'm going to rehearse this one little section, whereas instead of rehearsing the whole call, I know that I have to talk about XYZ, so I'm going to rehearse on what I'm going to say about those. Now, I'll have to improv if somebody speaks up and has a question, but at least that beginning part, hi, welcome to this, I'm going to talk about this, and this.
But there's a difference in rehearsing and kind of, okay, this is what I'm going to... hi, this is Mandy, I need to make an appointment. Some of that is just natural. You're going to know what to say.
Right, but I bet you there are people out there that will rehearse that part. They will rehearse their
People
hi.
out there or people in here?
Ooh. Let's talk about it.
All right. So this is how bad my social anxiety is. I rehearse what my name is and how I'm going to say it. What my date of birth is and how I'm going to say it.
Oh, no.
And the rest of what I need to have said during that, because I don't do calls unless it's to make appointments or to talk something serious. Other than that, I just text people. If you call me, you're wasting your own time.
That is another thing. The only time people are making calls are to schedule appointments or business calls.
Right.
Yeah,
Personal
no, I can
calls,
see
they
that.
don't. I mean, if you can't text it, don't call.
Well, and if I
Yeah.
need to take a personal call, well, I'm gonna have significantly less anxiety anyways because I already know you and I'm comfortable enough to talk on the phone with you. So anything else though, my anxiety is so bad that I have sat in the bed knowing I had to make an important phone call the next morning and have just gone over it 50 fucking times in my head how I'm going to say it because I know a real person is going to be picking up on the other end.
I almost wonder if we hold back, hey, you need to call to make an appointment until the day of and be like, hey, here's the phone, make an appointment, Adrian.
I will fucking cry. So don't. That is, yeah. So social anxiety in a nutshell, phone calls suck.
They absolutely do, because I do experience social anxiety. mine is more face-to-face social anxiety
Right.
than on the phone call social anxiety. Now, while if I could, I would still say, hey mom, make an appointment for me, because I just don't like talking to people in
Right.
general. But I mean, yes,
Yeah.
mine is in person versus on the phone.
I feel like for me on the phone is worse. Except for recently, because in person I always have I can smile, and I don't know, it's like the prey mentality. If I look friendly, maybe they won't eat me.
Well, no, but you could see that. Plus, you can read their body language and get some feedback back. We're on the
You
phone.
can't do that over the phone.
No, you can't. You're calling me over the phone, and I'm flicking you off, and I'm laughing,
that's the
I'm
thing.
muting you.
That's the thing.
I've
I
got
don't
you-
know. I don't care because I don't know. But in
Fuck.
person, I can see you.
Yeah, but I'm
and
not gonna
like,
be.
okay, this person's judging me. And
I'm
I
not
don't
gonna
know
be
what about.
flicking you off and putting you on the freaking intercom to the plant and go, listen to this motherfucker. Because
Damn, okay.
I would do that. I would put you on the conference call or whatever.
Shit.
And put you on the speakers out in the plant and say, listen to this bullshit, y'all.
We have
And all
learned
my
something new
employees
about
would be
Jason
laughing
today.
their asses
Other
off.
conversations where I've called and I may or may not have been chewing your ass. You've done that or thought
Yes.
of doing that?
No, I
Yes,
have
he
not
has.
done it on purpose.
It's been fucking funny. Let me tell you.
Was it funny that I was doing it or that he was getting his ass
The
chewed?
rage coming out of your mouth and the
Oh,
shame on his face.
The venom that Mandy can bring through the phone is something that everyone needs to experience at some point in their life. And I think we need to do a podcast of Mandy's rage and just have angry reads of sentences or something.
No, we shouldn't do that because a certain type of person likes that and should pay for it.
Well, all right
all
then.
about the money. All right. What would constitute a perfect day for you, Adrian?
Oh fuck, why am I first? Oh shit. Oh, I have no actual idea.
Do you need time to think? It's not like we had these questions beforehand or anything.
Legalized LSD, a lot of fucking rave lights, and just so much music and paint and art. And if I could, not even just for the day, if I could just do that for the rest of my life, I would be set. That would be fucking awesome.
The perfect day?
What would constitute a perfect day for you? Dun, 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 dun. Waking up on the beach to the ocean breeze, cloudless day, sun beating down
That's just because you're a beach bum.
on my oiled body,
Oh my god.
relaxing in the sun with a drink in my hand, watching the waves roll in. That is the perfect day
It needs
for
a
me.
sushi platter, and then I'm
Sure,
in.
I'm in. Sushi, whatever.
You forgot the orgy.
Beach orgy, yes, count it.
God, sand everywhere.
Oh,
Ew, no,
get in the
thank
water.
you.
Oh,
Get in
shit.
the water. Show off
Um,
for the sharks.
Mine would be a rainy, sleety, snowy kind of day in the
Ooh,
fall with
okay.
coffee and maybe a fireplace and a book.
Hell
But
yeah.
I like reading, so
And some ice cold feet.
they have socks
No.
on. They have the warm socks on.
Big ass blankets. Big ass blankets for the Mandy.
That's it too.
There's no helping those ice cold feet. I don't care how many blankets you put on them feet. Them's ice cold.
It's part of her it's part of her topping, and she puts her feet on an unsuspected sub and
it's fun.
gauges the reaction.
It's fun.
And
Come
it's,
here,
and
my
it's
heater.
fun.
It's
Yes. Take my chill, motherfucker. All right. When did you last sing to yourself or to someone else? I mean, for me, I sing to myself every fucking day. So
I have to stay awake.
on the car rides,
Yeah.
I mean, the commute alone, 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back. Yours is an hour.
Yep.
Yours is a none. But
Fuck
nonetheless,
you.
But no, but you listen to a lot of
So-
music throughout
Yeah.
the day.
For me, I sing to myself a lot because if I don't sing to myself, and I've actually like sat down and monitored this, if I don't sing to myself, I get into this really just disgusting, deep, dark hole, and it doesn't actually clear up until I sing to myself. And I've just recently realized this, that if I do not use my voice, I fucking loathe existence.
no.
And yeah, it's really, it's honestly a social experiment to behold. But yeah, if I
Holy shit.
do not sing to myself, I get really fucking depressed.
I can agree with that because
Yeah?
by the time I leave the city limits,
Uh-huh.
I am so stressed from all the idiots driving that I have to deal with
Right.
that if I don't sing to myself, or along to the radio with the radio or anything, I tend to stay in that mood of
Right.
just like everything
that
pisses me
funk.
off. Right.
Yeah.
If I sing and I sing loud because
yeah, fuck
it.
why not? There's nobody in there listening to my horrible voice. But it does. It relieves stress.
It does.
Right?
It really
Yeah.
does. There's actually there's both a scientific explanation and a spiritual explanation behind this. I do not have it, but I can have it later.
Cool. All right. We'll have to come back to this at some point and get that. So, if you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either your mind or your body as a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which would you want?
I already know my answer.
What's your answer?
Fucking mind.
Yeah?
No. Sorry, my bad. Body. Because
why the switch?
have you met the mind of most 30-year-olds? You really? I
True.
mean, most people, as a general, are not that bright.
Yeah, I can see that.
And if I can't mature mentally, then what the fuck is the point?
correct. And I didn't think of it that way. I was thinking of as you get older, you start forgetting, and you could get dementia or Alzheimer's. You just generally start forgetting things.
Yes.
And so, but my answer is, what do I use more?
Right.
Okay.
Right now, if I was doing sex work or modeling or anything like that, where my body was the main focus,
Right.
I would keep my body.
Right.
But if it's a career in being a CEO of some big company or HR or accountant, then or lawyer or doctor, I would obviously want to keep my mind. So it kind of would depend on the career choice that I would go to.
Guess
I can
it
see that.
depends on the question, because the way the question is worded, to me it sounds like you just stop learning and growing, maturing at 30.
Right, but like I said, I didn't think of it that way.
Yes.
If you could still learn and mature with your mind, then yes, I would keep my body because I would also be able to keep
Right.
my,
Right. Now, the way I view this question is that it has nothing to do with where you're currently at. So I know where I was at 30 with my mind and my body.
Okay.
And I would keep my body until I was 90 because I know I was mature enough to handle all that stuff.
Right.
So I would keep learning.
right.
And when I'm 60, 70, 80, and I still have a 30-year-old body, you're damn straight I'm banking on social media.
Right? No, and I feel like the
Excited.
question is supposed to be set up in a way that it expresses what's more important to you, your mind or your body. And I mean, I think for a lot of us, it's our mind and less so our body. But the way that this question executes it isn't great.
Right. No,
Right.
I can see that. I mean, you would want to retain your mind, but just thinking about it, even in your instance, Mandy, of dementia or anything like that, where you're forgetting shit, I'd forget shit all day if I had the body of a 30-year-old. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
Like, I'll have people around me that will help me do
I mean,
whatever it is I need to do.
What good does it do you to have the mind of a 30-year-old but the body of a 90-year-old?
Right. I don't see the good in that.
Well, but
I mean, it's supposed to mean fresh and young.
quote unquote
Right.
really good bodies do you see at in on lawyers or on
I bet you there's more than we think.
Yeah.
I bet you
You've
there's.
seen some of those lawyers?
I bet you if
Lawyers,
you really did a
doctors,
whole poll on some of these people, just because they're not on Instagram and showing off and stuff.
well, also, do you have to do anything to keep up that body?
Oh, absolutely. I bet you would.
Because,
Well, you know what? I don't know. The way it's worded,
Exactly.
it's whatever body you had at 30, that's it for the next 60 years.
Right.
It doesn't get better. It doesn't get worse.
Like, I don't like
Which
this
would-
question.
Right, which would in fact mean that your mind doesn't get better or worse. It's just your mind.
what it was at 30.
Which my mind at 30 is pretty much the same as it is now.
I don't
Right.
know what my mind at 30 will be. And I'm sure when I get to that point, I probably won't want to stay that way. So,
Well,
Nay.
I'm sure it'll be pretty good, but
for sure.
nonetheless,
I just don't want to hit
that's
a
all
wall
speculation
and then
at that
stay
point.
there.
Right.
So that's
Well,
never what I
then
want
you,
for myself.
Then you go my route, and you always learn. There's
Mhm.
always something to learn. So
Like, you can always change.
Well, right, because it's not saying you know what you don't learn anything else. It's just you have a the mind.
a fresh mind that
Right.
doesn't deteriorate.
Right.
Understand. Do you have a secret hunch about how you will die? And I don't know if I'm going to pick either one of you two to start this off. I may go ahead and start
Go
this
ahead.
off. I know that several years back, 2010, maybe, I'll just throw that out there, 10 years ago, a decade, I had a dream. I had a dream that I had outlived everybody in my life that was close to me. And I was on a porch, sitting in a rocking chair, just watching the world go by as I slowly closed my eyes and died. That was my dream.
Fuck.
So
Wow.
maybe that was a hunch, or a hint, or a whatever into what may happen when I'm older, or it was just a really fucked up dream because I've done a lot of drugs in my life.
I mean, that's fair. I don't have a secret hunch about how I'm gonna die. I don't know. I've always just, from as far back as I can remember, had this idea, and it's probably because fundamental Christianity fucked me up, that I was going to burn to death. Not burn in the afterlife, but to death.
Is he a witch? Let's find
I'm
out.
probably a witch.
Does he float?
Fuck.
Stop.
True nerds look at that. Mandy?
I don't think I have a hunch. I think mine is more of a hope. I want
A
to
hope
go
of?
in my sleep.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, if we're going off of that, I'd
Shit,
like
me too.
I don't have a hunch though.
either going in my sleep or I'm getting banged and I die. That's what I'm talking about.
No,
right
that is
there.
awful. That is traumatizing for whoever is with you during the banging.
Fuck
That's
them.
fucked
I
up.
don't care. I'm dead and I was happy.
No.
And you know what? Studies have proven my shit'll work for 2 hours after I'm dead, so they can keep on going until I come.
Unless they are complete and total sociopaths, they're not going to do that.
You don't know, do you?
Oh my god.
You don't know.
Who do you plan on banging to death?
Not me.
Maybe both of you at the same time.
I'm pretty sure we'll notice
That's-
if you die.
That's my death. That's my death. I'm getting queened, and I'm getting ridden, and I suffocate to death. There it is, right there.
That
can't-
is probably TMI.
Fucking believe him.
I love you all.
God damn it.
Name 3 things you and your partners appear to have in common. Mandy, go. Stumble.
Right. Let's see. What do we have in common? No, I'm going to go with we all have basic kindness.
Yes.
We all do.
Adrian.
We all have
Do I have basic kindness?
Yes,
You do.
Let's find out.
Stop it. We have pets all around us to prove that.
Oh, touche.
I'm mean to them. I don't know what you're talking about.
No. They all know they're good boys and good girls.
Shit.
So good.
Stop. Second would be common sense.
Yeah, pretty
do.
much. We're very rational.
I mean, you would be like, okay, these are all just kind of basic. No, they're really not. It's hard to find someone with basic kindness and common sense.
Right.
And it's really hard. I work with a lot of people. And it's really hard to find that. And drive.
Yes,
We all three have a lot of drive.
absolutely.
So
Do you agree with all of these
I
things?
do.
Do you want to add in any more?
It's your turn first.
It's my turn first. I agree with all of those things, and I think that's what it really boils down to. Just having those interests, being kind.
No. This is a cop out. You got to list 3.
Communication. We talk to each other. We're pretty open about everything. I think that's a good one. Care and concern for each other is very, very high up there for everyone in here. We're all
Absolutely.
generally concerned with how we're all doing, what we're doing, if we need help, and all that kind of thing. And bounce off of your drive thing. The willingness for each and every one of us to get behind the other partner and push us and get us motivated to do stuff, I think is something else that's very much in common between us.
absolutely. If
Sure.
one succeeds, then we all succeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Together as a family.
Yep.
All right.
It's
Are you ready?
It's you.
Are you
Now,
ready?
I
Are you
demand
ready?
3 separate
You're
ones.
gonna get 3 separate ones, all right? And they all have their own sub-subjects.
Oh.
So our first topic to get behind, I'm gonna say, is our background.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That leads into our impatience and anger issues when the time comes to.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
All
I
right.
can see that.
Second one is going to be
Not
our.
that we fight all the time, y'all. Don't take that the
No,
wrong
no,
way.
no. But we do get in our moods.
And we talk about it.
Some more than others.
Yeah, no fingers pointed.
Pointing
no
fingers.
No names said. Adrian.
The second point to hit on would be, I guess, our intelligence, and not in the Western traditional way, but more in we put rationality over emotions. And not because we're fact-based people, that's part of it, because we want to know what we're talking about, but because we all have similar backgrounds with mental health, and we want to make sure that we know what we're projecting when those hard conversations start to happen.
Oh, hell yeah. And then the fact that we can, I guess this is like an extra, the ability that all 3 of us have to actually just sit and actively listen to the other person and not just cut in, overstep our sentences or whatever, and make it where they feel like they're not important enough to just sit there and listen.
Right. I mean, sometimes you just have to fucking vent it out. And
Sometimes
then
Yeah.
it's not about the other person. Sometimes it's about yourself, and you
Right.
just need to express it. And you don't need them to say anything. You just need them to listen. And,
You
Right.
just need a bouncing board.
and a lot of people take it as an attack when it's not an attack.
you just gotta get it
Right.
off your chest
Exactly.
sometimes.
Right.
And I'd say the last thing is what our mental headspaces and mental illnesses really does for our understanding, because we all have varying degrees of, I would say, mental issues, and that's not something to be ashamed of. That's something that's normal, and it's in everyone.
Right.
And we just happen to have compatible mental illnesses, which, as fucked up as that sounds, is true.
Right? Yeah. I mean, depression and all that other stuff is what it is.
But we're also very high functioning. I don't
Right.
think any of us are low functioning when it comes to the depression and the anxiety. We have it, and God bless the people that can't push through it. We can, and we
Right.
do.
Right.
Tell you what, we'll get back to these on the next episode. We'll hit some more up. For now, thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for jamming with us.